And we are live. Or are we live? It's hard to say. Let's see here. Are we live or not? I think we are live. All right, well, let's get this video started. What's up, Friday people? We got 8 million people in the video in the chat right now. Let's see. We're here to talk about this, pool skating performance art piece I did for my art class in UC Riverside like 20 freaking years ago. And it's actually over 20 years ago. And, it was neat to get credit for doing something like this. And it was a pretty wacky experience. And, let's get it going. Let's see if I can get this thing to play here. How does this work? Let's see here. Okay, so this is Damon Demon from Santa Cruz and one of the premier backyard bowl rippers of the time.
Yeah. I know what you're saying. I haven't really done a whole lot of that.
3 generations of skateboarders come down for this event. Rad. So far ahead of its time that people didn't know what to expect. All the people in the crowd are people from my art class. I think it was Art 136 Performance Art. Here's Jeremy Henderson right here. Skateboarding legend. Just absolutely shredding. Throwing some of that Newport Beach surf slash into the face wall. One of my mentors in the skateboarding community. Jeremy taught me a lot about living the creative life and photography and skateboarding and how to enjoy life. And very grateful for that. And this guy, Steve, here is the one that lined up this pool. The reason we call this a pastor bowl is because this was Steve's pastor, the pastor at his church, and he wasn't using the pool for skateboarding, so he allowed me to host my entire UC Riverside art class school final in the backyard. And I never got a chance to meet the person or thank them personally. So if you're watching this, thank you so much for allowing me to create this dream and live it and document it and bring it to the community, 20 years later. And wow, this guy right here, Roy Starrin, is a guy I've known, went to elementary school with this guy. In fact, I've known Roy since at least the 7th grade. Pretty rad. He still skates today. Skated quite a few pools with Roy all over Southern California. Very talented skater, nice guy. Here he is, just absolutely shredding. People in the class don't know what to think. I don't think anybody skated. There's no skateboarders in the class whatsoever. 2003, it's not really mainstream. Social media hasn't really taken off yet. Nobody's publishing content like this on YouTube. Blackberries are barely, hitting the market, and Google Maps was like just getting started. like cell phone reception wasn't even good enough to use the Google Maps half the time back then. So here's Steve, my savior, and the first contact I made in the Riverside community when I first moved out there to go to school in the early 2000s. And I met him skateboarding around campus, and we're still friends till this day. Steve's been a really good friend of mine. Um, you know, known this guy for 20 years now, and never ceases to amaze me. You know, he's a family man now. He's holding down a full-time job, not skating as much.
This is a light.
Damon with his patented backside rolling. The guy did them just about anywhere. The gnarliest spots and the gnarliest pulls. Damon was best backyard bull shredders at that time. I'm not sure what he's up to these days, but I'm sure he still kills it. And this is me after running like 12 cameras, hosting the event, and making sure everything goes off without a hitch. I finally got some rides in, and you know, gotta tell you, this is one of the best pulls that we had going on at the time in Riverside. You know, turn of the century UCR area. Pretty rad, man. This is a really good pull. I believe it was a Blue Haven. Had a really, pretty much a flawless deep end. The shallow end wasn't super good, but it was good enough. The surface was about as perfect as you could get for a backyard pool. It was grippy, not rough. It was, you know, not slippery at all. Not something I'd want to fall on, but it was smooth enough to ride, grippy enough to keep you in the ball. And it looks like the skating is now done for this event. We had everybody had a scheduled amount of time to do their final presentation, and this was mine. And I was the only one in an off-campus location that required the entire class to drive. And so we're on a time crunch, and we had to get to the next handful of presentations. And I'm so honored that we were able to do this, and I am just ecstatic that this actually happened. And what I wanted people here to experience is get in the pool and see what it looks like, feels like, and sounds like. And I had a info document that accompanied this experience to give them some terminology and some insight and some history on what they were going to experience and what they could, you know, what would be valuable to know to get the most out of this. And I really feel like I succeeded in bringing skateboarding to a non-skating audience, educating them and giving them the info they need to appreciate it at a much deeper level. And, you know, I did a handful of these up and down the West Coast. Not every event was recorded, but, you know, this is an example of the outreach that I think is important as skateboarders to, you know, enlighten people on what we do and why we do it. And this was a Q&A with the audience and the skaters.
Provincial about their mentality.
I'm gonna
Regional, kind of like hip hop. You know, hip hop is.
You know.
You heard about the violence of hip hop. Pool skating is the mirror of that sense, but now it's not.
Why did it change? Why did that change?
Chino, you're not.
Basically, because we all have to drive. You know,
And
pretty
because
good
of law,
distances to, yeah, if that's you.
And what?
law is on our hands. We're trespassing all the
Yeah,
time.
I did a week in jail for skating back there.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
We got arrested.
Yeah, I had to pay a $700
Yeah, he
fine.
was there too.
Yeah.
I was going to jail.
I was the only guy that paid it. Everyone else just let it go to warrant.
Yeah.
Court
That's
was
sad.
like
I've had like 60 days put on me.
a few days before I started UC Riverside. It was crazy.
So it's sad because you
Charges got
most
dropped.
situations is the cops will come in and
Thank
sat there
you.
and watch for a bit, and then you get kicked out. But sometimes they might just have us. Sometimes they might just have us.
How about communities in those skateboard parks?
Sorry.
How about communities?
They're nice.
Those are great. Those are great.
It's not the same as the
They're
backyard.
just not as scary. The challenge is that you want to skate something gnarlier.
What do you mean by hillside fires? You're saying like if a fire goes through a hill,
Oh, yeah,
there's
yeah.
mostly a lot of
open
pools.
fires.
The open fires
They have big open fires.
or Goleta in Santa Barbara. You heard about those in '92?
Yeah.
Those left just a bunch of pools like this. It was on a hillside. Foundation of the home pool. Or the ones that open, we'd skate a pool, walk over, skate another pool, walk over, skate another pool, until you were done.
What you're talking about is when you go into somebody's pool that isn't yours. Skate.
That's why we're trespassers.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean,
Yeah, but also
if
that
we didn't have
is
permission
weird.
today, we'd be trespassing.
This is the reason why the pool is actually empty, is because the plastic lifts. The
Yeah.
fact that we
The world famous Kevin Burke, backyard pool travel extraordinaire.
Yeah.
And this was in the very beginning when he was just planting his roots.
So if somebody's going to use that pool again, they would have to go in and replaster.
It would have to be anyways. The only thing you have to get in trouble for is drawing up the coping. Chipping up the coping.
I mean, realistically, a lot of the situations we
That's
take
my
from
instructor.
Paint them. We had hot, you had to paint them black. A lot
Well, so many of these,
hot, you had to paint them black. A lot of
well, so many of these parks now are being designed by skateboarders.
Absolutely, but also you have to take into consideration that whatever city we put it in, we have to abide by their rules. And if we want something that's 10, 12, 13, 15, then we're not going to do it. That's the bottom line. So we still have to go with the backyard. And also beyond that, it's a challenge.
Who told you that?
I'm sorry?
Who told you that?
We've
liability.
actually designed skate parks.
No, I understand that, but you see, people that build pools,
Uh-huh.
they
Okay.
charge the same thing, whether it's 8 foot or whether it's 4 foot.
Right, but they're
Right.
not dealing
Right.
with pool contractors. They're dealing with landscape gardeners,
Yeah.
basically.
It's a financial question there.
Yeah.
When you're talking about a financial question, basically,
Absolutely.
pool builders are just going for the maximum dollar amount anyways. We're talking about the fact that I designed skateboards for long time. In the 70s, I designed England and stuff. But truthfully, it's not about that. It's more about the fact that even when they try to put a pool, skate park construction,
Hey, Kevin.
the man's one and
Kevin.
and it's kind of sad because even some of the best skateboarders can design a perfect pool, but when it comes right down to building it, something always sags or something.
Yeah,
goes
there's some
wrong.
loss in translation.
Well,
The
yeah,
thing is,
there's a
we can
lot of
accept it. We can
involved
accept
in
it back
building a
here
pool.
because that's kind of part of the challenge, and also it's part of the thrill. Sneaking around, breaking the law. That's part of the thrill of the whole thing. And it's no back here. Everyone's different. And
Had to take some pictures. 35 millimeter manual focus
I have two questions.
SLR.
But probably, I have two questions. Do you guys consider yourself role models, and why don't you guys wear protective gear?
I don't necessarily
Like a
want to be
helmet and
model,
stuff.
to be honest. And as far
No,
as
I didn't
protective
say
gear
you
goes-
were, but I'm
I mean, well, I'm
In
not
skate
trying
parks,
to
you wear
be offensive,
protective gear because we don't want to
yeah,
get
absolutely. I'll play by the rules when there are.
no, but I'm saying
but
if
there's no rules.
you guys have audience and they have kids, do you guys
safety.
put
Yeah.
on
Sure.
helmets?
Sure.
Okay.
I think if the kid's under 18, I think they should probably wear protective gear. I think once you get past a certain point, you become adult. Yeah, you should be able to make decisions for yourself.
And some backyard pools are so scary that we definitely wear helmets.
Yeah,
I mean, we've all taken our share of it.
yeah.
Spoken like a true mother.
Well, I couldn't help it. Because I was going to be my son, and I would have probably asked him to leave because I'm always on it,
Right.
helmets. But I mean, because we all think we're inseparable at one, especially
Sure.
the male. But I just freaked.
Yikes.
Because tragedy happens like
I
in a
have a
second.
16-year-old
Sure, but I mean, I can walk down the street, get hit by a bus.
Yeah, but-
there's really the
Yeah.
odds are probably.
Is that the beginning of Karen culture?
It's me. I just so.
I'll answer your question. I have a 17-year-old daughter now, and she skated pools when she was 12 and 13 for a little while. And a couple of days she was doing great, and I pushed her and pushed her. I was like, keep going. Helmet pads, the whole thing. And she finally got to car with the lights and stuff. And at one point in time, she whipped out because there's a lot of G's skating curved pools like this. And the G-force sometimes make you, if you lose your center just a little bit, you you fall backwards, and she fell and got hurt, and then she never rode pools again. So usually you kind of learn your limit
Yeah.
with pools. I mean, it's not that in half in front of 400 people in Paris.
Oh.
Bones are sticking out, and it's like this. So yeah,
Get
there's
in.
definitely a
Yeah.
plates. Tape.
Well, we
You
should
take
probably go
risks.
on if we get to go see other people's stuff, but thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you.
So honored to have done this.
Hey, thank you guys for
Everyone
coming out. I'm
involved.
just glad everybody could. Thank you guys so much for showing up. I'm glad you guys made it, and
You
I
did.
don't know, this is cool. Maybe I'm planning on doing some more of these in the future at different locations for small audience type of things. So
Yeah.
like definitely, like this is the beginning of like of something.
Well, those type of things are very difficult to put together. So needless to say, not much has happened in the last 20 years, but I'm still open for it. But based on the size of, it seems like our audience has grown, the community has grown. So theoretically, there should be more spots out there. But, you know, because a lot of these pools were made in the 40s, 50s, 60s, and early 70s, a lot of them really are not, there's not as many of them around as there was before, because a lot of them are getting redesigned, demolished, remade. So it's really a special thing, and there's an urgency to documenting this type of content because, you know, otherwise there's no story to tell. So if you have any questions, comments, or you have a location that you want featured, I mean, most of my locations are long dead and gone, but, you know, new spots come and go all the time. Most of the stuff that I emphasize here on this channel will be things that are long gone, and I'm just highlighting those experiences because they were pretty freaking badass and inspiring and motivating, and I thought that would be good for people that don't have that background in pool skating to see and use and get inspired to do their own work. And anyhow, here's some pictures that I took over the years of different pools. And man, Andy Mack at Buster Halterman, Tony Farmer, Jake Piasecki, Pete the Ox, Shaggy at the Gonzalez Bowl, of all places. Holy smokes. Like, man, I could go into detail on that alone, and that would have been, you know, worth the price of admission. So I'm going to try and pause this so it doesn't really get too crazy, because I really don't want to draw this out too long, but wanted to share this with you guys. And, you know, if there's anything, you know, feel free to reach out. I got an email here in my description. And if you like what I'm doing, man, I'd be honored to have you as a subscriber. And I look forward to reading your comments in the, you know, videos. And, you know, I'm stoked, man. Let's do this. Other than that, have a great day, and to a million more podcasts. And other than that, have a great day.